Before I got diagnosed, we just had my son, Brax. He'd probably a week before, and I'd been feeling a little bit, not a little bit off. Well, I guess you could say that, but I thought I'd just put it down to working hard because I was working and then going to the gym in the morning, coming home, you know, it was just a long day. And I was having quite a bit of blood in my stool, but I just put that down to hemorrhoids because I'd had hemorrhoids all my life. I even looked at, checked Google when all this was happening, and Google said, oh, one possible cause could be bowel cancer. But because I didn't have any other symptoms, because I was, I was only 40, I thought, oh, it can't be that. The day after Brax was born in the hospital, I went to the toilet and there's just a big leakage of blood, like having a blood nose. So I thought, oh, this isn't right. So I made an appointment to see the doctor, I think a few days later. Went and saw him, explained to him the symptoms, what had happened. He gave me a quick check. Couldn't see anything. Said, oh, you're too young, too healthy. And I said, oh, should I go for a colonoscopy? He said, oh, wouldn't worry too much about it. I just thought, no, I better go. I better just go and get it checked out just in case. I want to make sure I'm here to see Brax grow up and here to take care of Jojo and the family. So, and I did. I went and got the colonoscopy and, they found a 4.5 centimetre tumour. At the point of my diagnosis, they weren't sure whether it was stage 2 or stage 3, but their first perception was that it was just stage 2. And then they rushed me off to have chemo and radiation the week after. And I did 6 weeks of that. When you go through cancer, people deal with things differently. It's whatever you see fit to get you through. And my philosophy was to try and not feel sick. And a big part of that was keeping my weight. I knew as soon as I'd start losing weight, I knew that I was sick and I didn't want to feel that way. So I was trying to get as many calories into my body as I could. And because I was eating so much, I was going to the toilet. So it was like a double-edged sword. Like I was trying to stay healthy, but I knew that it would mean that I'd go to the toilet more often, but I just chose to do that. But it was excruciating. It was probably one of the worst parts of the treatment. Come here. And the plan was to do the 6 weeks of chemo and radiation, let my body heal, and when it's strong enough, which would be probably about 4 weeks later, they'd go in and remove the cancer and attach the colostomy bag. When I went in for the operation, they discovered that it was actually stage 3, which meant they took the lymph nodes out. And then when I was about 6 weeks after the operation, when I was strong enough, they gave me another dose, a follow-up dose of chemotherapy, which was 12 weeks of intensive chemotherapy. The last chemo that I had, I remember standing up and I felt like defeated. It was the first time that I felt defeated through the whole ordeal. I just nearly fainted. But then about a second later, just this moment of euphoria just came over me, knowing that it was over. So it was a really weird feeling. Just the difference in emotions, from despair, the bottom of the barrel, to, just feeling, oh, this is over. I feel it's amazing. I'm finally through it. It'll be 5 years in December that I've, since I had my last chemo. It just changes your whole way of thinking. Once you get through it, once you get to the other side, you just appreciate the fundamental things and the simple things, and you don't whine about anything. And, I remember after my chemo, I wasn't able to drink cold water because my throat muscles were just really stiff, and I had to drink warm water for about, 3 or 4 months. So now every time I take a cold glass of water, I just appreciate and enjoy it. I think people have the perspective that bowel cancer is an old man's or an old person's cancer. I had the same perspective, which is why when I was going through it, I was going through the symptoms. I thought it can't be bowel cancer because it only happens to old people, people over 60 or whatever. So yeah, I count my lucky stars. I'm as unlucky as I was to get cancer. I'm just very lucky that events played out the way they did, which allowed me to get through it.
Oh, Lily.